Turco, what are we doing here?
Well, we're going to do, let's just remind everybody about the 3 parts of green building. I think we're going to see parts of all of that. We're going to talk about the energy conservation. Bill alluded to that earlier about the house and how much energy it makes and how little it uses. We're going to talk about resources being conserved, and that, of course, is a stone is a great example. We're not hauling stones in from somewhere else. And we're going to talk about healthy indoor air quality. So when you're thinking about green building, those 3 things, energy, resources, and indoor air quality are the 3 key things. But of course, there's lots to cover. So let's start with Braden right now and talk about resources, conserving resources.
Now, you're in charge of this project, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do? How did you come up, and what's your methodology?
Well, we came and we started off with, meeting the clients and getting an idea of what look they were going for, what interested them, what their ideas were, and then we combined our ideas and came up with a plan of attack. There's 47 acres here, and there's just piles of stone intermixed throughout the hills and under the trees everywhere we look. We decided that we would harvest all that stone to do all our rock work that you see here in the background. As long as that rock wasn't visible from the house here and or from the neighbors' properties, it was free game. So we've basically been going around and harvesting all the rock by hand, which is as sustainable and as green as it gets because it's all manpower. And once we get it here, we start kind of dividing it into different piles, small rock, medium rock, and larger rock. Try to find rocks with really flat faces, and then just slowly start building. A lot of the design was all worked out prior to the first day of construction, and there's other aspects of the design that are being made up as we go.
Well, let's take a look at some of your work over here now. This is all handcrafted.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And so maybe think about some of the things. So if someone was thinking about doing this at their own home and they had resources available, they had some stone to work with, and it can be a much smaller project than this, of course. You could just use it for some small walls or small elements.
Sure.
But how would you start? I mean, you look for the stone. You look for what kind of stone would you look for?
It depends on the project. On this particular project, we wanted a real natural finish look. So we didn't have to have everything perfectly flat and a perfect fade on all the walls. We wanted it to be structurally sound, but we also wanted to keep that natural look. Okay. So what I would look for in like a retaining wall type of situation we have over here is we like to place our biggest rocks on the bottom and slowly graduate towards smaller rocks on top.
I see some, you can see some of the bigger rocks here. Look like the key rocks that look beautiful and they stabilize, I guess, the whole wall.
Right. We also dig out a small footing, and put a little bit of gravel in there. It helps with drainage and also helps with the adjustments of rock. And as things settle, everything kind of settles into place a little bit better.
And you're not using concrete, so you're actually using the whole stone base. You're not pouring a bunch of concrete.
Right.
You're getting these structural walls that hold back the hill.
Right. We're actually using the native soil. The soil that came out of the footing is the soil that gets backfilled into the rock.
Oh.
Every so often, we will take a little bit of concrete or a mason mix, and we'll mix that in with our soil, a very small percentage of mix, and then fill in all the cracks and wet it down consistently as we go. That'll just help with the bonding process.
Absolutely. So now, you got the big stones on the bottom.
Right.
You've got rocks that are laid out, your smaller ones, your bigger ones, and different faces. Then do you just build a straight wall? Is there tricks? It looks like these walls kind of out of line. Do they lay back some?
Yeah, there's what we call a percent fade on it. I don't know exactly what percent we've accomplished here, but because it is retaining the earth behind it, we made a point to have that fallback. That'll help with just making it stronger. That's going to help make it more structurally sound.
Okay.
And it's absolutely beautiful as well, and what an enhancement.
Appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
So let's take a look at exactly how you would put a wall together yourself. It's pretty basic, but there's some points to learn, and I think Braden's going to help us understand that. So here we are. We're looking at the wall under construction. Braden, you talked about you got some big rocks at the bottom.
Right.
And then you start to fit them together as you go up.
Right. We do the best we can. We try to fit everything together like you would a puzzle. We try to maintain our fade, and we try to, take the time to find rocks that fit perfectly into the next rock. But that doesn't always happen. So if you notice, we have a bunch of hammers and different rock tools around that we will trim the rock. We'll actually physically break pieces of the rock off to get it to lock and fit a little bit better. What we end up doing with all that trim material is we throw the trim material into the inside of the wall, and then go ahead and backfill with some of the native soil and a small concrete mixture and clean
This is what's inside that wall. So when you're looking at a finished wall, then you're seeing this, the inside there is all this concrete and mud all put together to hold everything in place.
Sure.
But when you're all done, that's all hidden.
No.
It's this beautiful rock face.
Yeah, we're going to put a nice flat top on like you see on this other one here. We have some choices in the end. We can put some poly sand or something in there to really help lock it together and give it that nice flat surface. But yeah, the inner part of the wall isn't visible at when the product's final.
And you're using all the waste product. So you're taking these pieces you've chipped off or scrap pieces and putting them in the wall, and they're all locking together to make the matrix.
Everything's usable, and all those different angular aggregates really help lock everything together.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Braden.
That's no problem.
Great look at that.
No problem.
So here, we want to take another look at the use of this rock and this special fireplace. We looked at it as a retaining wall earlier. Now we're looking at it, and Braden, you're like using it actually up a wall. So you build a masonry fireplace, and then you put this on like you would brick.
Right.
So same idea. You have to look for pieces, cut them to fit.
Exactly. We're also trimming. We're breaking rocks down just to get the perfect, sides and angles and everything that we want. The difference here is that we're actually using a mason mixer, concrete behind the rock, to actually, essentially glue it to the block.
Okay.
And then the very last thing we do is we can't be absolutely perfect. We will still have little voids and holes. Right. So the last thing we do, like we do with the walls, is we go back and we fill all the holes. Okay. We go ahead and make sure we spend a day or two just making sure every little open area.
Cutting little stone pieces.
Cutting little pieces until we get the right fit. It's a slow process, but in the end, it's rewarding because everything's filled in.
It's just so beautiful. There's even moss growing on some of these rocks just from a local area. It's just beautifully done stone. And then one other note we should note here is just this fireplace that Braden had built is an example of a very energy efficient fireplace. It was invented in the 1600s by a man named Count Rumford, called a Rumford fireplace. You can look it up and Google it, but it's a specific design made to throw the heat. It throws the heat way out, 10 feet away from the fireplace. So it's exciting. When this is all done and there's big lentils around it, you're going to be able to stand way back and be heated by the wood he has on his property right here, the local oak wood.
Right.